They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give themselves to me. Like clay I shall mould them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They will be of iron will and steely muscle. In great armour shall I clad them, and with the mightiest guns shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease. No sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and machines such that no foe can best them in battle. They are my bulwark against terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my Space Marines, and they shall know no fear. Hello, and welcome to this edition of Midlife Crisis. Going to do something a little bit different today, something I've not done before. Just recently we have had some new Codex releases by Games Workshop, and the first of which I've got and I want to take a look at is the new Codex Space Marines. So first of all, it's quite a weighty tome. There's 208 pages, so it's quite a major piece of literature to add to your expanding Warhammer collection. The cover has got this really nice artwork. It's interesting that there seems to be a slight change in style from the last few editions. I'm finding this new artwork style a lot brighter and a little bit more, I don't know, comic-y than the real sort of grimdark of the 8th and 7th edition artwork. But that aside, really nice looking book, and let's see what you get for your 30 English pounds. Inside cover, front and back, has got this really nice sort of scene of all these faces. This is something I've noticed coming through in all the 9th edition releases, so good consistency there. So we open up with a quote of the Emperor of Mankind, Bishop reading. So dives us into the introduction and quick look through the contents of this. There is a huge amount of lore. Pretty much the first 78, really up to about page 90, is all background and lore, which is no surprise that there's so much. I mean, the Space Marines have been in Warhammer 40k since day one, and there's a vast amount of background. So we start off with a bit about the genesis of the Space Marines, how they were first created, look at the chapters, 1,000 chapters. It is believed that over 1,000 Space Marine chapters, independent autonomous armies fight for the Emperor's wars. Personally, I love playing Space Wolves. I've been playing Space Wolves in one form or another for the best part of the last 25 years. Your own chapter. So we've got the Adeptus Astartes at war and the different war zones across the Imperium still have this the massive warp rift that's basically split the galaxy in two. But this is a nice point out of all the known war zones, all the war zones as they were known before contact of this side of the Imperium was lost. So quite a lot going on here. So talks a bit about chapter planets, chapter organisation. Oh, there we go, we've got some of the artwork still making its rounds from 8th edition. So some of this is new artwork, some of this has been in the domain for years, but I actually just really enjoy all this background information, the war zones, scout companies, Apothecarian. It's a nice way just to just really immerse yourself in the look and feel of Space Marine chapters in the 41st millennium. So no surprise here, quite a large section about Ultramarines, Sons of Guilliman, but actually touching on some of the other first founding chapters here with Imperial Fists, Blood Angels, White Scars, Dark Angels, Raven Guard, my favourite, the Sons of Russ. So it's quite a nice amount of background here. You get quotes down the side of the page, these little cutaways giving some expanded history. Salamanders and Iron Hands. Deathwatch, interesting one. Is Deathwatch a first founding chapter? They were made up from Marines from all the different chapters following the heresy to guard against Xenos. So there's first founding Marines within the Deathwatch chapter, certainly. But is the Deathwatch chapter first founding? Don't know. Leave that up to you to decide. Yeah, some of the touch of successor chapters. So this is quite nice, that it gives you the chapters, the colours, a little bit of background on them, and also where they've come from. So you got Imperial Fists, Raven Guard, Iron Hands, Salamanders, White Scars. Now, similar to the main rule books, you've got short stories, and they just change the page style so it's easy to spot where this fiction literature sits within the book. And now we have a whole stack of painting examples, different chapters, all the eye candy you'd expect to see to encourage you to go out and buy more miniatures. Big chunk of rules here have been taken up, or chunk of the book have been taken up just with lore. So probably about the first, almost first half. Then we get into the rules section. This is split out. You've got, as you'd expect, Battleforge rules, army rules, match play, Crusade. So there's a large section in here on the Crusade rules, and this is something I know Games Workshop are pushing really hard with 9th edition, and it's definitely the sort of ongoing storyline that I enjoy playing, and certainly most of my games in 9th edition are based on Crusade forces. So some of the general information. Chapter tactics. This is nice. Each chapter has its own specific tactics, so you can replace these or use these on your units within the data cards. Tactics for successor chapters, and there's a nice set of rules in here, so that if you form your own chapter, you can actually take different chapter tactics out of here based on your personal preference, your personal forces. So chapter command, it's actually got rules in here, so you can take your standard captain and give him a promotion through to being chapter master, so additional power, additional points, and special abilities for each of the command units, to take them from a standard company command and for them to become actually command of the entire chapter. So chief librarian, apocrypher, and stratagems here. There's a whole heap of additional stratagems, of relics, heroes. It's some super cool stuff in here to spend your command points in if you're playing Battleforged armies, and this just really builds on the core stratagems that were in the 9th edition rulebook. You also get your warlord traits. In here we have the different traits for the specific if you want to use the Space Wolves Beast Slayer. The Warlord has slayed some of the worst creatures of the galaxy. Has to offer. Such a hero embodies Russ's ferocity and courage. So lots of ways here that you can customise your characters and actually give them a real backstory of their own. A stack of new agendas, new requisition art items, and battle traits in here that you can use as part of your ongoing narrative. Crusade relics, and yeah, in Games Workshop's big push, let's have a bit more eye candy on the Crusade force. So now we're into the data sheets, and this makes up probably about a third of the book of data sheets of pretty much every unit that's out there, and also some new units, which is really cool, which gives a good hint of some of the new models which will be coming shortly from Games Workshop. The Blade Guard Ancient, these were included in the Indomitus box set. I don't think I've seen these as part of any other box set, so these were still Indomitus only, but obviously they've got their battle cards here, so it's definitely something that's coming. New vehicles, these tactical war suits look really cool. Never used these myself, but certainly something that I'm going to be looking at to see how I can use that within my Space Wolf force. All the usual dreadnoughts, standard marines, as well as Primaris marines. Yeah, so anybody who's got a force that's older than sort of 8th edition and you've got loads of the old slightly smaller models, there's still rules certainly in this edition, and from what I can see it's not something that Games Workshop are going to be stopping anytime soon, so no need to go out and replace your entire army with Primaris. What I find quite interesting though is some of these vehicles, and especially around the transports. Land Raider Crusader cannot transport Primaris models, so the Land Raider, which has been a pattern tank since the days of the Horus Heresy, I always felt that these were absolutely huge beasts that, you know, if they can take a good set of Terminators in them, you know, not quite sure why they can't carry Primaris. The only thing I can think for that is that Games Workshop are releasing new models, so I want you to replace your existing transports. Drop pods cannot transport Jump Pack, Terminator, Primaris, Wolverine or Centurion models. Don't know if that's always been the case, but certainly used to take Terminators in drop pods back in the earlier editions that I used to play. So interesting. Quite interested to see what large transports are going to be coming for Primaris. And this is so cool, the Hammerfall bunker. I believe Games Workshop are about to, or by the time this video comes out, will have just released this miniature. Yeah, a drop pod bunker. That's quite an impressive piece of hardware. Anyway, so we've got weapon profiles. So all your points value, so if you're playing the old school point systems for match play, everything you need to do is found here. Unique code in the back, which I'm not going to open up on here, to allow you to access all of the data sheets and all of these rules from the Warhammer app. I mean, this book weighs in at £30, which seems fairly steep, but you get a lot of information. Now, I remember the old codexes were an absolute fraction of this size, was softback, not hardback, didn't have anywhere near the lore or the models, certainly no interactive features as part of the new Games Workshop Warhammer 40,000 app. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this and going to be looking forward to using some of these rules in battles to come.
that's really the end of this episode. If you've got a copy of the Codex Space Marines 9th edition yourself and disagree with anything I've said, then feel free to leave comments or agree with what I said. Let me know what your thoughts are of it. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. So, from Midlife Crisis, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.